Hi, I'm Michelle Potts. I have been saved for 2 years and I've been coming to Radiant Life Church for 8 months. I have 3 children. My oldest son, Brennan, is 15 years old. My middle daughter, Madison, is 13. And my youngest daughter, Erica, she is 5. I was born into a family where my mom was a Christian and took us to church on Sundays, and my father was an alcoholic. I was confused when I was younger, thinking that wrong things were right, seeing a bad example from my father. My parents got divorced when I was young. We moved several miles away from my father, and my mom worked really hard for the family. My mom met my stepdad around the 5th grade, and I really just started to grow in church. I started going more, twice on Sundays, on Wednesdays. I was very involved with the youth group. Around the age of 15, I started believing the lies of the enemy, telling me that I did not fit in, I did not belong, that the people around me really didn't care for me, and that was a huge lie. I started hanging out with the wrong people. I started smoking cigarettes daily. I had tried marijuana when it was offered to me for the first time, and by the time I was 16, I was pregnant with my oldest child, and I continued in school. I dropped out 3 months before graduation because I wanted to live a life with no rules from my parents. I wanted to go out and do whatever I wanted. After dropping out of school, I became pregnant with my second child, and I still partied after that. By the time I was 19, I had tried a drug that would change my life forever. I had tried methamphetamine. At that moment, I knew that is what I wanted to do, and I knew I did not want my children around it. So I made the decision, the selfish decision, to give up my 2 oldest children into the care of my mom, well, their grandparents, and that just started my downward spiral. I thought I had it under control. I used every once in a while, which turned into a daily thing, which turned into out of control lifestyle. I am thankful by the grace of God I'm alive today. I actually ended up quitting for a couple years, but I drowned myself in alcohol. I'd probably drink about a 5th of whiskey a day, and I was just miserable. I didn't even want to face reality. I had to live with the fact that I didn't have my children, that I wasn't good enough to be their mom because of my selfish decisions, and I was looking for love in all the wrong places. I ended up meeting my husband, which was the downslide to my rock bottom. We both used, and it was a mess to begin with, which made it even messier towards the end. There was really just rarely a day that went by that I wasn't abused. And I'd had enough. I couldn't do it anymore. I lived in fear. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to turn. I stayed high so that way I didn't have to deal with reality, because I was so miserable whenever I wasn't high. And it came to the point 2 years ago. It was actually Easter weekend. My daughter had come to me and told me that her father had hurt her. From that point on, my life changed. My heart was shattered. I lived my life in fear. I knew I no longer wanted to live the way that I lived, and I put Erica to bed, and I broke down to God. Honestly, I had the feeling of there's nothing here for me to live. I cried to God, and I asked Him to change my life, whatever it took. I begged Him, I cried to Him, and I went to bed myself. Within an hour of that prayer, I woke up to my phone ringing, and it was my stepdad. and he began to tell me about this program called Teen Challenge, and that they wanted me to go because they wanted me back. They wanted me to get help, and that they would take care of Erica. And there went my worry of Erica being safe, and I immediately broke down, and I told them yes. So within 3 days, I was in Teen Challenge in the Ozarks, and God just began to work on me there. It is a very strict and very structured program, but it's what saved my life. It taught me how to have a relationship with God. I knew of God. I knew that you pray to God. I didn't know what a relationship with God was. And I didn't know it was such a beautiful, powerful thing. It blows my mind that this is what I've been missing my whole life. It was probably 7 or 8 months into my program when God just really took a hold of me and did a work in me. And there was a freedom that I had never had before. And I got that much joy for other people that I saw God doing a work in, and it just registered. The freedom that God gives is so powerful. It is so amazing. God has just really been doing a work on me. He has given me a joy that I've never had before. Sometimes the people that I'm around, they don't even want to be around me. They can't stand to be around me because of the joy that just comes off of me, which is crazy because I went into that program. I was one of the most angry people you would ever meet. From everything that I'd been through in my past, I held that as an excuse to be angry and hateful, and God has stripped me of that, and He has given me a new joy. He has helped me forgive others to where it is just an amazing feeling that I have inside. I know that God has plans for a future for me. I am not my old self. I will not be called by that person. God has promises for a hope and a future, and He is restoring my family to me. He's restoring the years the locust ate. I get to spend so much time with my children now. It is a blessing. He continues to work on my heart. I have been working on forgiveness, and that was a big thing in my life, and I have found just on the inside how much better of a mom that I can be. God has restored my heart to love again. I am not my past. I am not my addiction. Doing things on my own that I could do it myself. I didn't need help, but that's where I failed. Is I need God to live. I need God to show me what He wants me to do in life. And if I trust in Him and not on myself, He is going to direct my path to a place that I couldn't even imagine. I know that He is just working all things out for the good of those who are called according to His purpose. And I know that He just has wonderful plans for my life.